Big Fat Simulations playing Radar Chaos Hawaii Edition. This version of Radar Chaos is quite a jump up from the original Radar Chaos game in terms of complexity. It's got a lot of moving parts and it's a fairly steep learning curve from someone that's used to playing Airport Madness or someone that's brand new to the whole air traffic control concept. So this video is a walkthrough of the game a little bit and also a tutorial. So if you've played Airport Madness, you're used to the fact that you've got choices of airports. Well, in Radar Chaos, we don't control airports, we control airspace. So here we've got our choice of sectors. We've got terminal sectors that surround airports. So the job of the air traffic controller here is to feed traffic into airports and receive traffic from airports. And then we've got these higher level sectors, and what they do is they feed traffic into and receive traffic from the terminal sectors. So it's kind of like an upside down wedding cake of sorts. My favorite in this game is to turn the traffic slider way up. Let's go not too crazy. And I like this high north sector. Oh, I thought that music would never end. Let's turn the volume right off so we don't hear anything. So here we have this high north sector and, well, there's not a whole lot of airports in this sector. So what exactly do I do? Well, for starters, I'm busy funneling traffic into Honolulu. If you look down here to the left side of the screen, there's a little thing called an intersection called Maggie. And this is like a bedpost of sorts, and my agreement with the Honolulu terminal is to bring arrivals into their sector via this Maggie waypoint, and I have to have them all 10 miles in trail of one another. So here we have 3 arrivals, and they're all going into Honolulu. And I'm going to show you how I sort out how to get them all 10 miles in trail of one another. But first of all, I've got a bit of a fly in the ointment here. I've got this one little fish that's swimming upstream. I'm going to move them out of the way here if I can, and I'm going to use a radar vector to do that. All right, that's going to turn the aircraft to the left and get clear of this Delta 544, and I'll stay clear of this United 664. If you're not familiar with Radar Chaos, you'll notice that each aircraft has a target. Well, that's the little white square, and it's got 7 trail dots showing where it was on the last 7 radar sweeps. And there's a data tag that shows the aircraft name, and in this case it's Alaska 102. The altitude 29,700 feet, and the speed 430 knots, which is somewhere around 460 miles an hour, and the type Boeing 737. Okay, I've got a bit of a job to do here. In addition to feeding aircraft into Honolulu sector, the agreement is that I have to have the aircraft level at 17,000 as they cross Maggie. So I've got this aircraft ascending. I have this aircraft descending to 17,000 feet as well. And this one here, they all get descended to 17,000 feet. Oh, would you look at that? We have one more coming. That's perfect. So we have 4 of them. I'm going to turn on a little feature I created called mileage. And it shows at the top of the data tag how many miles this aircraft has to go until it gets to the Maggie waypoint. That is very useful because I can quickly see that these 2 airplanes are a problem for one another. They're going to arrive over Maggie with about 3 miles of in-trail spacing. So this WestJet 265 flight is going to get what's called a delay vector. We're going to turn them left in this general direction, and I'm going to wait until that mileage gap, that mileage difference builds to about 10 miles. Yet another Honolulu arrival. I'm a bit concerned about this Alaska flight and this United flight. So I'm going to turn on this feature called Future Paths that I created, and it shows that in 2 minutes my Alaska is going to be at 35,000 feet. Or higher, and safely above this United flight. So that is nice to know. I can send this Alaska directly towards Toads. All right, these 2 aircraft United 625 and Delta 544, they have very similar mileages to Maggie. I'm going to have to do something about that. Delta is going to be third in the pack here, following WestJet. And then United 625 will be third. So United gets a delay vector. I'm going to give them a heading of about 190. We have another one. It's a busy day going into Honolulu. And would you look at that? This flight here is actually only 69 miles away from Maggie. The United flight is 71. So Alaska 441 is going to be before United. So I have actually quite a lot of work to do here. So this United flight, they are going to get a further left turn heading 170. Oh, would you look at that? One more flight going into Honolulu here. And they will be after United. So let's just see how we do here. This one's going to have to expedite their descent to cross Maggie at 17,000 feet. All of these aircraft should be on their way down to 17,000 now. All right, let's give them 17,000. Let's give them 17,000. Oh, we're getting a handoff from the Maui controller. This WestJet flight wants to climb into our airspace and go right through the pack. And I'm not sure how I'm feeling about that. I'm going to give them 37,000 feet, but I'm going to give them a vector to steer clear of all my flights. Do the best I can here. All right. So how are we doing for spacing here? United's first, WestJet's second, about 9 miles in trail of. I'm going to turn them direct Maggie now. You watch these mileages. We want to have 10 miles between each aircraft. So United, WestJet, followed by Delta. Didn't I give this aircraft higher? I did, didn't I? So Delta will follow WestJet. WestJet will follow United. After Delta will be Alaska, who's going to need a delay vector as well. We'll go left to about 150. And we'll just see how this goes. I think this Delta flight's going to need to go left as well. We'll put them on a 190 for now. One more. This is going to get interesting, folks. Okay. Well, we're just going to let it run a little bit here. Put this aircraft into a handoff because I don't need them anymore. I think this Delta is going to go further left heading 170. I just feel like I need the space. Once I switch this aircraft to the next sector, I lose the data tag, which is kind of nice. It declutters my radar screen very well. All right, so Alaska will follow Delta, and I need to make sure these mileages build. Followed closely by United. Followed closely by WestJet 813. Oh, would you look at that? One more Honolulu arrival. This is a busy, busy day. I may not be doing a whole lot of talking in a minute here. We'll just see how this goes. Put this one into a handoff. I think this WestJet flight, I'm going to stop this one at flight level 240. Stop this one at flight level 230 and send them direct towards. So I've got altitude. This one's climbing to 23. This one's descending to 24. Okay, that's a start. Switch that aircraft. Put the next one into the handoff. Okay, Alaska will be next, followed by United. Switch that one. Once I get about 20 miles between these two aircraft, that should be theoretically all the room I need, as long as Alaska shoots the gap and goes in between this Delta and this United. A lot of moving parts here, like I mentioned before. Still no real plan as to what I'm going to do with all these airplanes. I do know that WestJet is going to be following United. So WestJet's going to get a heading of about 140, as is the Air Canada 114, left heading 140. And, oh, thank goodness. Here's an aircraft that's actually not going to Honolulu. That's just wonderful. I do need to start working on getting them down, so as soon as they come onto the frequency, I'll be descending them. Okay, I'm glad I stopped this aircraft. Yeah, I just might run out of space here, folks. Delta's 24 miles back with a speed of 330. Alaska is slightly slower and about 8 miles in trail of. So I'll be turning them towards Maggie in just a moment. All right, let's do it now. Let's send them direct Maggie now. We're going to see how this works with this Delta flight, this United flight, and this Alaska flight. And the arrivals just keep on checking in, don't they? I still haven't really decided what's happening with these two airplanes. Time will tell. I'm going to stop this aircraft's descent at 22,000. All right, this Delta can be handed off. I'm going to build in a gap here of 10 miles, and I'm going to jam this WestJet in there, I think. That's my crazy plan. I think I've got the room now. Direct Maggie. Keep the descent going, yep. Give this aircraft a climb to 37,000 feet. Give this aircraft a descent down to 17,000 feet. I'm going to build in a gap here with this one. I'm going to turn them right to 270 and switch this aircraft over to Honolulu Terminal. 38 and 23, that's it's practically too much room, isn't it? Oh well. So this WestJet here, it's going to fit in between this United and this Delta. And this Air Canada, it's going to fit between Delta and American. And this Alaska is the fly in the ointment. It's just an aircraft that I wish wasn't there. How do you tell a pilot, I wish you weren't there? That's not a very nice thing to say. All right, so far, pretty happy with my spacing. This Delta flight is overflying to the southeastern Hawaiian Islands. Gosh, I can't remember the name of the thing. Is it Kona? Is it Kauai? I think it's Kona. Anyway, Delta's going there, and my only responsibility is to descend it to 26,000 feet, or flight level 260. But I've got lots of time to do that. So I'll just let them cruise along at 35,000. Put this Alaska 441 into the handoff. Put this United into the handoff as well. All right, how are we doing here for distances? 29 miles, 50 miles. That's looking okay, I suppose. I think I'm going to need more room here. This Air Canada can go left another 10 degrees. And this Alaska flight, I'm going to bend them. Actually, I'm going to give them a right turn heading 230. I'm a bit worried I'm going to create a problem with this United flight, but we'll jump off that bridge when we get there, right? Keep this aircraft ascending. This aircraft speed is 310. This one's 340. Okay, contact terminal. All right, I'm going to give this WestJet their turn. Direct Maggie. Okay, now I'm officially concerned about these two. So this one's going to have to stop their descent at 260, and we'll stop this one at 250, which isn't exactly a hardship for either of them. All right. So far, so good. Put this one into the early handoff because I don't really need them anymore. Give this Hawaiian a descent down to 17,000 feet for the Maui sector. All right, how are my mileages going here? 16 and 24. That's a little tighter than I like. Followed closely by this Delta 570, followed by Air Canada 417, followed by this Alaska flight. Actually not really liking my spacing one bit. I'm going to go further right to 250. Not much I can do. Okay, Delta can have their flight level 260 now. Getting a handoff here from the southeast for somebody that wants to climb. All right, that's just about the distance that I need. I could use a hair more. What's our speed? 340 versus 310. This second aircraft is clearly slower, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to ship these two planes over just like that, with just slightly a hair less than the 10 miles I require, but a fairly decent speed differential. Put them into the handoff. All right, 31 and 33. This one's got a speed of 330. This one's got a speed of 340. So I'm going to do my very, very best here. Give them 37,000 feet. Give them 17,000 feet. As soon as I have about 7 miles between these two, I'm going to crank this Air Canada around the corner. Okay, clear direct Maggie. So this Alaska will in fact follow this Air Canada 417 if I can ever get my distancing correct. And this American 923, they're going to be on that heading for quite a while we sort some things out here. Improper in-trail spacing, says the girl. Well, I guess it was that thing I talked to you about where I handed them off with only 8 miles. I figured having a big speed differential would be okay, but she didn't seem to agree. I never really did like using that art, the hula girl. It was just such a Hawaii stereotype, and it wasn't my idea at all to use that artwork. I was just trying to make my game fun and where am I going here with this guy? You know what? I think I made a mistake here, folks. This Alaska is not going to Honolulu. They're going to Maui. All right. Clear them direct Maui and just deal with the fallout. Stop them at 22,000 feet. That is actually a bit of a relief because this American can now go direct Maggie and should fit in naturally behind this Air Canada. Check out this little stream of airplanes, folks, at the southwest. This is our doing. This is what we did. We made a nice stream of arrivals that this approach controller can use, and somewhere else, probably on the other side of this controller's sector, is another controller like myself, feeding them a stream of airplanes that are 10 miles apart. And this controller can deal with that. But what the controller can't deal with is us just shoving 20 planes down the pipe all at once. Here you go. Good luck. So that's our job, is to just kind of soften the fire hose stream of traffic and give it to them in an orderly fashion. All right, this aircraft wants higher. They want 39,000. This one's going to 33,000. We're going to stop them short at 32. All right, what's next here? 34, 35, start them down a little early. I'm starting this Delta down a little bit early because I'm a bit concerned about these two. Let's put future paths on them both so we can watch. That's projected to be a non-issue, but you never know. I've seen a lot of non-issues become issues. So I really screwed up with this Alaska 905. I mistook it as a Honolulu arrival, and I just fed them into the pack, but they wanted to go somewhere else. They wanted to go to Maui. So in real life, yeah, I would not have heard the end of that. I'd be probably headed downstairs, just talk to my boss about it and explain myself and explain why I got distracted. It's part of the job. All right, how's that looking? This one wants to go to 33. This one's at 34. This one's on their way down to 33. Let's just keep them going down to, let's get them down to 260. I'll put this one into the handoff. We've got another handoff here for us. It's flashing again, so that means that the terminal controller will accept them. I'm pretty happy with what's going on here, so I can get rid of these future paths. Okay. I'm not going to take this handoff yet to the top right because I just don't know what it is. I don't like to accept something that I don't understand. Oh, and sure enough, it's relatively straightforward, so I'll accept that. Now, in real life, I've taken this Alaska here so far out to the west that they're actually going to have to cut through Honolulu's sector. So this might involve a little bit of inter-unit coordination. I might have to kind of explain myself to a few different units. That 10-mile rule also applies over here going into Maui. So this Hawaiian is 46 miles back from the Maui VOR. Alaska's 61 miles back from the Maui VOR. So those two are okay. This WestJet 712 is 78 miles back from the Maui VOR. So that's okay. So these three Maui arrivals are all okay. Now I'm going to show you something here in a minute. Just for fun, let's take this United. I'm going to turn them left to a heading of 070 and give them flight level 340. And my conflict detection algorithm that I wrote immediately recognizes this is a problem. See, I got these red future path lines that are saying, hey, what are you doing? So back down to 330 and direct Aziba. That should immediately resolve the issue. As far as I know, that stuff does not exist in real-world air traffic control units. At least it hasn't in any units I've worked in. And anyway, it's just something that I built, and I thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool to actually work with this in my real-world job as an air traffic controller? And maybe one day. But anyway, having all these fancy tools that look for conflictions is no substitute to a good, careful lookout and a good solid plan for how you're going to deal with your traffic. Says the guy that vectored the Maui arrival into Bora Bora. All right. This Alaska flight can have down to 17,000 feet. Sure. And I'll put them into the handoff. Switch them. Put this one into the handoff. Handoffs everywhere. All right, I think we've whacked this one to death. Have a look to the southwest. This is the work of a good en route controller. This is what an en route controller does for an arrival controller. So next time you're playing Radar Chaos, the other version, the World Edition, you'll see what I mean by feeding a terminal controller a nice steady feed of airplanes that can in turn be fed to a control tower, which is the scenario that you're familiar with when you play Airport Madness. Anyways, I'll end this video. It's been more than long enough. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll make another video for you real soon.